I'm going to describe their colour. So sandy beaches, and we need to have as or like, remember? So as you use when you're describing how something looks, and like is when you're describing how something moves, or it's the verb. So as is the description, like is how it moves or how it acts. So we've got sandy beaches as golden as let's get rid of that, as golden as the sun. And then we put our full stop in. So this bit here is our simile. You could put sandy beaches golden as the sun. You don't even need that second as. So we've got our S is the colour because it's the start of summer. Then we've got our line. Then I've got, right, I want to describe the colour. Well, sandy beaches are orange and yellow. So I've put as gold, I've used the word golden. What is it like? Like the sun. So as golden as the sun. So let's move on to the second one. Unbelievable waves. Okay, right. So in the summer, waves could, there's lots of people surfing. So I wanted to say that the waves were really tall. Okay, so or big. So unbelievable waves as high, because waves are high rather than tall. As high, and I need something that is high. And you can think of anything. You could be as high as the sky, as high as mountains, as high as houses. I've decided to go with as high as towers. Okay, so you're using your line that you've already done and adding a simile to it. Right, let's put as and like back up here again. As and like. So I've got my U for the summer, I've got my line, unbelievable waves, and I had my adjective, just like sandy was my adjective. Unbelievable waves. Could I describe the waves? Well, they're really big, really tall. How tall are they? Well, they're as high or as tall as towers. Full stop. Okay. Melting ice lollies. This was harder for me to think of. So I want to think, right, if it's melting ice lollies, it starts to drip, doesn't it? Okay, gets all on your hands, gets all sticky. Same with ice cream. So melting ice creams or melting ice lollies. What drips? I had to think about what drips. Okay, so a gutter might drip if it's been raining, but I thought of a tap. So melting ice lollies, dripping. Ooh. Now I can't say dripping as a tap because dripping is the verb, so I need to make sure I'm using like. Here we describe the adjective. We say it was as golden as or as high as, so we're describing how something looks. This is what it's doing, so we have to use like. Dripping like a tap. Don't need an adjective for tap, but if you wanted to put in another adjective, that would be fine. Munching on fish and chips. Okay, munching on fish and chips. Greedily. Now, something that eats something, something that's quite greedy, maybe. This one's a hard one as well. So munching on fish and chips, greedily like, because again, greedily is the adverb. Greedily like a pig. Greedy like a pig. Okay, you could have munching on fish and chips. You can say describe how hot they are. Okay, or how they smell. Smelling like a. And then you could describe how they smell. Covered. And you don't have to have a simile for every single line. So if you really can't think of one, don't put one in. There's ones later on that I could not think of similes for. So You don't have to have one for every single line. Just try. So endless barbecues. Okay. My barbecues always seem to involve a lot of smoke, so I'm going to put that in. So endless barbecues, smoking. Wanted to think of something that makes a lot of smoke, and I thought of a chimney. So endless barbecues, smoking. Again, we're describing the verb and what it's doing, so we need to use like. Like smoking, like a chimney. Full stop. Rock pools. Okay, big fan of going rock pooling when I go to the beach. So rock pools, I always think that it's really nice to see the sun on them. So I was going to put, you could describe how big they are. As big, you could rock pools as big as swimming pools or as big as the sea. You could say how, are they clear? Can you see into them? What are they covered with? So your rock pools surrounded by, so you don't even need to include a simile. You could just do a bit more description. So rock pools surrounded by children fishing, if you wanted to add a bit more information in. But I am going to put glistening, because I always think that the sun reflects off them. So glistening, something that's really shiny. So you could have things like jewels, gold. I've already used gold up here though, so I'm going to use diamonds. Glistening like diamonds. So again, I've got like because I was describing how it looked, describing what it's doing. Glistening like diamonds. Okay, and that's it. That's all you need. You're just coming up with something, a simile to describe the beaches, describe what the waves are doing, describe how the ice creams are melting, describe the fish and chips. So it's adding extra description using a simile. So use that sheet as big as small as. I haven't used as many as is. I've used quite a lot of likes for my poem, but that's fine. Right, let's move on to autumn then. So I'm going to read autumn again. So I've got auburn leaves, umbrellas, tremendous fireworks, ugly pumpkins, marvellous treats on Halloween, numerous nuts. And then I've got my autumn down the side. Okay, so auburn is another word for brown. It's just a fancy word for brown, really. I couldn't think of another colour. So I thought about how I wanted to describe the leaves. So they were falling, because that's what leaves do in autumn. They fall. How are they going to fall? So again, it's the verb, so I need like. And because they don't just go, they don't plummet, they don't fall really quickly. They kind of float around, don't they? So I could say auburn leaves floating, but I'm going to say falling, and actually they look a little bit like feathers to me. So that's what I'm going to use. So auburn leaves falling like feathers. And I could leave it there, but I'm going to add to the floor. To the floor, full stop. Okay, umbrellas. This one I found really, really hard. I thought about just leaving it as umbrellas, but do I still want? I have got an idea. When you open them up, they look a bit like big parachutes, but I don't like it very well. I don't think it fits. I was going to have umbrellas open like parachutes, but you're not really you're not Mary Poppins, so you're not kind of floating around on them. So I'm just going to leave it. Tremendous fireworks. Okay. Tremendous fireworks. So when the fireworks explode, they light up the sky. So that's how I wanted to use it. So I had tremendous fireworks like beacon. So a beacon is a bit like a lighthouse has a beacon. So it's like a big light, like beacons in the night or sky. You could put dark night as well if you wanted to. Ugly pumpkins. Now I always think that pumpkins, when I walk past them, they're staring at me. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So they're staring. but they don't move, do they? So I needed to think of something else that doesn't move. So houses don't move, but they don't really have a face to it. So ugly pumpkins staring like statues. So I've got lots of likes here because it's glistening like, falling like beacons in the night, staring like statues. I'm just wondering whether I've got an as. So, marvellous treats on Halloween. Yummy as. Oh, well, see, I would say sweets, but we've already got sweets. Yummy as something. So it's a food that you really, really like. Marvellous treats on Halloween. Yummy as can be. I can't think of anything else, so I'm just going to put yummy as can be. So that is still got the simile in there because we've still got as, and we're still comparing. So what we're saying is that these are the nicest treats that there ever is. So numerous nuts. My last one. Okay, I always think, again, the nuts are falling on the ground. If you've ever walked in like a park where there's lots of conkers, they're always on the floor. Okay, so numerous nuts cover the floor. They're quite hard as well, nuts sometimes, so I'm going to say they cover the floor like pebbles. But you could have anything in there. Like snow. You could have snow. I know it's not about winter, but you could still have snow. So numerous nuts cover the floor like pebbles. And there you have it. So I've got my likes, like, and as there, and like there. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the wonderful poem I've already written and I'm adding a simile to as many lines as I possibly can. So I managed to get them all in for the first one. That's a lot of writing. And then for the second one, I really didn't like the umbrella one. I think as long as you've got one or two, you've only got like one line which doesn't have a simile in, that would be brilliant. But if you really can't think of them, you can always have a go at writing another poem and putting in the similes then if you think of it easier. And when we came up with just things like sun, when we did our work yesterday, and we had umbrellas there actually, and we had things like rock pools and we had eating. So we came up with some lots of, you've got sea, sand castles, seaweed. So have a go, see how you get on, and I would really like to see what you come up with. That'd be really, really good. So try one for summer, one for autumn, and then have a go for winter all by yourself. Okay, right.